What's going on, guys, and welcome back. So I didn't plan on doing a video, but it looks like Over Future Fusion has an effect now. Is it worth it to play it in Cyber Dragon, or is it really not going to be? Well, the OCG is going to get this card in a couple of weeks on June 21st, but what does it do? So it is an continuous spell card. During your main phase, you can activate one of these effects. So you can only use one effect of the two effects, it looks like, per turn. First effect, reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck and send one of the fusion materials mentioned on it by name from your deck to the graveyard. So it has to actually mention it. That means you can't reveal like Mega Fleet, you can't reveal Chimera type Rampage Dragon because they say Cyber Dragon monster. You must reveal something like Fortress or Cyber Twin, Cyber End, or like Cyber Dark Dragon, something like that, where you send. I guess Cyber Dark wouldn't work, or the Cyber Darks work, but not the big one where you send Cyber End and Cyber Darkness, but the ones where you send the little Cyber Darks. So you can reveal Cyber Twin, Cyber Fortress, Cyber Eternity, and send Cyber Dragon from your deck to the graveyard. And if you do, you cannot special summon monsters with that name. So turns off Machine Dupe. That's still not too bad. You could still special summon Naxter, because Naxter is Cyber Dragon Naxter in your hand. It is not Cyber Dragon on the field. Nor activate their monster effects for the rest of this turn. So you can't use this and then summon Core or Naxter because you can't use their effects. You can summon them, you can special summon them, but you cannot use their effects because the moment they're summoned, they become Cyber Dragon, and you send Cyber Dragon, so you cannot use their effects. That's interesting. Seems like a very harsh restriction, I guess, especially for 2023. Effect number 2, because effect number 1 is trash. It turns on Repair Plan. Oh, cool. Well, you can't use any of your other cards now. Great. Effect number 2, fusion summon one Dark Machine Fusion, okay, Overload Fusion, from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials, yep, Overload Fusion, from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. Okay, so that's a little conflicting, I guess. During your main phase, you can activate one of these effects. You can only use each effect of this card once per turn. I'm gonna guess that's a translation thing. If you can use each effect once per turn, it's decent. If you can only use one effect, the card's trash. The card's not good if you can only use one effect. Obviously, Rampage is gonna be what you go for. So if you can use both effects, you can summon your Core, you can use the effect, you can summon your Naxter, you can use the effect, because you can do this after. You cannot for the rest of this turn. So use your Core, use your Naxter first, use your dupe, summon it first. But if you're doing all that, Overload Fusion is the same thing, right? Like, there's no benefit to this. You can only use each effect once per turn. So it looks like, yeah, I don't know. Translation, we'll have to wait on an official one. But otherwise, it's essentially Overload Fusion that you can send one of the materials to the graveyard already. And it's continuous, so if you get stopped or negated or don't win, you can do it again next turn. So on the surface, it looks like a better Overload Fusion. Downside to this, though, is you can't use Thrust to search it out. It's vulnerable to Ogre. I mean, they could just Ogre the Rampage, so that doesn't change a whole lot. Is the card playable? Even if you can use both effects, probably not, because it doesn't do what we need it to do. It helps us OTK again. Yippee. If you're really focused on OTKing, Power Bond is still the best way to do it. It's the most consistent, it's the most resource manageable, and it is the easiest. It's by far the best way to do it. This card is not very good. I guess that's what I'm going to say with it. This card is not very good. I probably would not recommend playing it at all. Like I said, in some ways it's better than Overload, and in other ways it's not, because we already go second anyway, and thrust into Overload actually works, whereas with this it doesn't. You have to hard draw it. Yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. Personally, as it reads right now, unless there's a major translation error here, I personally would not recommend playing this card. Hopefully this video helped shed a little light on what you can and can't do with it. So you can normal summon your core, your Naxter, things like that. After you use this, you just can't use their effects because they become Cyber Dragon. You can special summon Cyber Dragons, you can special summon your cards before you use this. You have to reveal a fusion that specifically lists a card like Cyber Twin, the Chimera Tech Fortress, to dump to the graveyard. Like I said, you may or may not be able to use both effects in a turn. We don't know. It says activate one of these, and it says each of these. So which one is it? Because that's actually really major. Because if it's one of these, this card is horrible. It's worse than Pharaoh's. Okay, maybe not, but it could be pretty bad. The second effect, it's Overload Fusion that you can keep using, so that's kind of niche. But oh man, Konami, Link 1 Searcher, it'd be pretty good for us. Just saying. Another XCs that we can use. Another consistency card. Come on, give us something. We don't need a 7th way to OTK poorly. We don't need it. We have so many ways to OTK already. Better ways. Just saying. Okay. Yeah, that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think down below, and thanks for watching.